Ladies and gentlemen, you wanted it, you got it. The place for the untold, real, raw, and juicy stories of dirt track racing. It's Dirt Track Confessions. And now here's your host, Mandee Pauch Mahaney.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dirt Track Confessions. I'm your girl, Mandee Pauch Mahaney. This week, we've got my dear father-in-law, the work shoe, joining us, Mr. Jim Mahaney. Jim, how you doing over there?
We're doing great. How's
We're doing
everything in your home?
Good. We've got babysitter, daddy. He's on it. We got fresh diaper. Left him with some milk, so we might have a couple minutes to get this episode done.
You probably deserve a few minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, this is actually, Jim, this is actually my first podcast recording since having MJ. So
Wow.
Well, I know. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it, but we're here.
Well, you're busy. You're busy. What a change of life, right?
Very. I love it. It's exciting. But I was saying to Jim, guys, before we hit record, is my vision of this podcast. I mean, you see Jim all the time. Obviously, you know, my husband Mike, who's Jim's son. Let's just piece that together right there. I want to paint the picture of what life looked like for Jim. Like, how did he get into racing? How did Mike get into racing? Kind of like the ripple effect per se. So Jim, I mean, I'm personally curious, you know, what was life like growing up in King Ferry? Because you didn't really have anyone that was into racing, essentially, did you, in your family?
No, nobody was into racing. My father loved horses because he worked with them, when he was young and on the farm. But there was many people in King Ferry in the area that raced stock cars. Mm-hmm. And when I was 10 years old, my cousin took me to weed sport. We had a family get together at my parents that we often did. And I don't know why he decided, well, I'm going to take you at 10 years old to Weed Sport Speedway. So we rode in an old Volkswagen Bug and went to Weed Sport. And my biggest impression was we immediately drove in the driveway, and there's a gap there when you used to drive in. And there was an old sedan stock car flipped on its side. So that's what I can remember from that day. Aside from that, I really don't remember much.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what hooked me on it. Of course, I always have had a love for cars. Mm-hmm. And then there was when I got my license when I was 16, I could finally go to the races on my own, because basically my parents or nobody really had absolutely no interest in stock car racing.
Yeah.
So there was Roy Shields was down the road. He was one of the locals that had a race car. So I went down, started helping him. I went to the races with him. And I guess that was the beginning of the journey of racing. And we did team up at one time. I had two motors that I was building a late model at one time that was I'll tell you how old it was. It was a 57 Chevy frame and had a 64 Chevelle body that I gutted, and I was going to sit in the left rear seat. And somebody come in and wanted to buy it, and next thing you know, it was sold, and now I'm stuck with motors. But we joined together and we won a few big races with my motors, and then eventually, when I was 30 years old, I decided nobody's going to give me a ride. I'm not going to ever have a chance unless I do it on my own. So I went. Will Cagle at the time told me of this gentleman that had a Tobias chassis big block for sale. So I said, I'm going to buy it. And I go up to buy it, and all of a sudden he changed his mind. I'm not going to sell you the motor. Well, So we got to pull the motor out there. The only thing funny was the chain falls broke and it dropped on the floor. I said, that serves you right for not selling me the motor.
Yeah.
And so I ended up building my own small block. Went to Fulton Speedway the last 3 times of that year. I believe it was 82, I think. Mm-hmm. And didn't qualify. It was an old steel bodied Gremlin body on a 79 Tobias, what I'd call a high rail chassis. And just was having fun, even though I didn't qualify. And the next year, during the winter, I put a nice aluminum body on it, and I ended up 5th in points next year, just racing one night a week. And all the time, my only crew was my wife, Kathy.
Yep.
And Then was great friends with Donnie Wetmore, and he was running M&B Speed Shop at the time, and he was building cars similar to a Les Alberti car. They had quite a lot of side rail protection around your head, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a pretty good car, and we ran that. I did take that to Syracuse one year and didn't qualify. Um, I can remember the biggest effect was it was $1,000 worth of tires, which was a lot of money for me at the time
Back
for
then, yeah.
just to go to Syracuse.
Wow.
And of course, those tires were just for that. They were so hard, and so nothing came about with that. I feel bad that I got to race there and Mike never did, but it was just so expensive all the time that
Mm-hmm.
as doing it out of the family farm and our budget, I just never wanted to spend all that money to go there and deplete what we had to try
Yeah.
to go on and carry on. So that's where we were with that. And my main thing after that is I flipped it, bent the cage. I landed right on the front of the cage at Fulton, and that's kind of how I got into the Tobias race cars. Donnie couldn't build me one at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called up Tobias, and they were great people, and they got me a car within 3 weeks. In the meantime, I was driving a car that Donnie and I built for Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty came to Brewerton and Fulton to run as an exhibition, and it was a number 21 Citgo car. And I hauled it to the track, and I ended up driving that car after Kyle drove it at Brewerton for the 3 weeks until my car got ready, and then I started driving the Tobias cars, and went on to have a good relationship with them, and that is one of the cars that I'm still driving right now is a '93 Tobias in the vintage that
Oh, we're definitely talking
I
about that
bought
too.
brand new.
Don't you sweat that.
Yeah.
We're gonna circle back on that.
Sorry
Now,
about that.
no,
Got ahead of
no.
myself.
My question though, Jim,
Uh,
is when you first showed interest in racing, not Kathy and your kids, but like what did your family think of this? Because like you kind of touched on
oh,
coming from a farming family, like I hate to say it, to throw away the money, racing was more of a fun thing.
absolutely. Because I never had any sponsors to say. I only had one sponsor, and it was $250, and they gave me
Yeah.
another $250, and that was about it. So that was about the sponsorship of my racing that I've had to speak of, money wise. But no,
Mhm.
my dad wasn't for it. Um, he did go to the races and watch me once later in life, but it was always, he asked how I did,
Yeah.
but the farm was the most important thing. So it wasn't, what do I want to say? One of his favorite things
Yep.
was me racing. Yeah, and I'm sure my mother probably thought, "Oh, you're going to get hurt or whatever." But I don't
Of
know if they
course.
were. I can't remember if that was a concern of theirs or not. But
Yeah. Well, by the
I
time
know I.
by the time you, I mean, like you said, you were 30, hence the number 30,
Yeah.
right? I think I remember that.
Yes, that's how it came
Um,
about.
yeah,
Dirty 30 was on the front of it. Dirty 30.
nailed it. So,
Yeah.
well, by that time you had your own family, right? Did you start? I don't know how
Yes.
old you were when you, okay. So you were already married to Kathy. So obviously, like, talk about that because I mean, she's told me plenty of stories where she's in the pits, pregnant, changing tires,
Oh
doing
yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. She was like I said, it was cute. The crew, and
yeah.
she could do everything. Run the valves and would scale it.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy could change the gears, change tires, mount, dismount tires. She'd do all the preventive maintenance of nut and bolt and getting the um, car ready because I would, some days I'd leave at 3 o'clock in the morning with a truck, deliver a load of grain, or else when we were doing string beans, I would be running the harvester and delivering one or two loads a day, and then come back and I might reload the grain or I'd be working in the fields, and then at night I would go back in the shop and finish up the car, get it ready for the race, and then it might be 10 o'clock, it might be midnight, but every morning, just about at 3 o'clock, I was going somewhere with a truck. Lots of times it was 7 days a week. I had one place that was open on Sundays even, and I could get unloaded. So, um, but obviously I couldn't have raced without Kathy because she was such a key part of it.
Now, I remember when I first started dating Mike, yeah, no, however long ago that was, Jim. Um, I just always remembered he'd always, I hate to say complain, but he was always, it was hard for him because prime time for farming for you guys is always when we have like our big paying shows, right? So like how were you balancing at that time? I mean, up until Mike started racing, really, like how were you guys balancing racing and farming because the seasons are the same?
Well, when I first started out, of course, I've never raced as much as Mike has. Mike
Mhm.
has raced 10 times more than I ever could. When we started out, we raced at Fulton, and then we were run the Outlaw Circuit. So we ran Brewerton, Fulton, and some Utica Rome. Utica Rome was so big that I always felt it was tough on my motors, and I couldn't.
Mhm.
I'm paying for the whole motor and the whole car, so I didn't feel that I could afford to run there. You had to have some power to run there. But at one time they were racing Wednesdays. One year I can't remember that. Well, it had to be in because I had the M&B car, so it had to be in the 85, 86 era. They were racing Wednesdays at Weedsport, 320s, because we ran 320s before they went to 358s.
Mhm.
And so we raced 4 nights a week. And I said
Wow.
to Kathy one day, "Do you remember that?" And she said, "Sure, I do. All we did was argue." So it's
Yeah.
somewhat funny. um, and eventually I cut back to two, Brewerton, Fulton. And then when Brewerton or in Fulton, the outlaw circuit switched to NASCAR, they switched to gas. I always ran alcohol, ran the big tires. I butted heads and went south and went to 5 Mile Point, Pencan, and raced down there and got my car beat up because
Yep.
especially 5 miles, a contact sport.
Yep.
And I, did that. And so in 96, I think Kathy kind of said, "Well, I'm sick of getting my hands all greasy and doing this." And I don't blame her. And so kind of backed out of it. And that's where I kind of would just show up at the end of the year and just do the Fulton 200. And,
Okay.
and, and another thing, you go back with Mike in the year in races, we didn't do a lot of year in races. I mean, if I did the Fulton 200 and maybe 5 Mile Point 100 lapper, they were my big races. And then, we backed off away from it and then just had to do the harvesting.
Yeah.
So
Wow. I mean,
that was the way it
it's
was.
true farming. That was livelihood back then. Well,
Well,
still.
the farming pays the bills, and the
Yeah.
farming has to get done first. You can't not do it, or else then you
Yeah.
don't have anything. So yeah.
Now, one of the things I always admired, Jim, is when I started coming around and hanging out with you guys, is you guys make racing fun. I mean, like you're always just bubbly, happy, grateful to be there, and that has me wondering is like you did it for fun, you did it because you enjoyed it. I feel like, I mean, for me personally, it's what's kept our family together. I'm sure the kids. I've heard plenty of stories of the kids being in the stands watching a race at Fulton. Like, what do you feel like as a driver or as a dad? Like, what was your greatest accomplishment in racing?
Well, to you know be able to do it as a family,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, I guess to be somewhat successful. I mean, I didn't have a large amount of wins, but to be able to come on and win and um, still have the family life, juggle farm,
Mm-hmm.
um, did tie for one championship. So I did get the one championship. I always said the tie was like kissing your sister,
Yes.
but did get that. And, won the 100 lapper at 5 Mile, which Michael also did. So that was neat. A father and son both doing that
Yeah.
national quarter-mile dirt track championship. Um, and also, I think being respected by some people that I did have quite a few rides.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I can probably start naming them off, but I don't have to. But the biggest one was Charlie Davis.
Yep.
And Steve Roberts, I drove for him at some time, but a lot of them were just, 1 or 2 night stands where somebody would give me a chance to do it. Paul Jensen, Jeffrey Lavage, there were a couple of them, and there's many, many more. And a lot of them I got when I was running for points, and a motor would blow or something. They give me a ride that night and help me save my points. So it's I think that was something that they, respected me enough as being a good driver, not to junk their equipment.
Respect is a big
But
thing.
unfortunately, I did a bad thing. I won a qualifier at Penn National for their big race, and I went down there, and that was back when I had the M&B car, and I bought a tire. You had to have the track tire for there. I remember I bought that tire, went down there, it rained out. So when the rescheduled race came, my motor was blown. So somehow through Tobias's, Carl Davis gave me a ride in the backup 100 of Ronnie's car. And so we both was driving a 100, and I had to get in a wreck on the front stretch and bend the front axle, so I didn't. I think that was the only time I had that kind of problem. But that was a major disappointment. The best I could do is says, well, here's Carl, there's his tire. That's not going to be good for me. You can use it, but
it's such a catch-22, racing for yourself, but then racing for other people. Like it's the expenses, but then the cost of if something were to happen in someone else's car.
Yeah. Whenever we drove, when we had the 21 Davis car, when I drove or Mike drove, I mean, we maintained it. It was at the shop, and we absolutely maintained it like it was our own. We did not try to waste any money or overspend money. The winnings all went back into the car, and lots of times we spent our own money to keep it going because that's, I don't know, just who we are, I guess.
Yeah.
I never was big on using somebody else's stuff. I mean, it's just, I always worked hard to get what I got, and that's just what we did. But I also understand in the days of today, if you want to race full time, you definitely got to have help, because there's an enormous bank account that has to, put you through, even if you're going to race one night a week.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, you definitely need the backing. Now, let's say that it has me curious, Jim, just tossing this out there, is if farming wasn't a factor, what would be like one thing you wish you could have done differently in your career? Would you have done more? Like, if all the answers, I don't know, all the prayers were answered, I guess is a term we can use. Like, would you have done something differently?
Done something differently racing or in my life?
Racing.
Definitely racing. I would like to do more.
Yeah.
Because as we were racing, we were doing multiple nights and everything. I think a lot of it, I got burnt out because by the time you work all those hours and you're doing 7 days a week, you're trying to race. I got burnt out myself, just like Kathy did. So if you didn't have to kind of juggle a couple jobs, trucking, farming, and so on, you would have had more time, and I would have raced more. Definitely would have done that. Whether I could, I think maybe I could have got a ride with somebody and done that. I mean, I was always disappointed I never got to drive a sprint car. I never got the offer, and that's neat that Mike got to do it.
I mean, you put that out into the universe, Jim. You're not that old.
Yeah, I'm getting that old. when I flipped that car at Fonda. At 70, I realized the hit was the hardest I ever hit, and it took a little while to mend that over. But I raced a late model one night at Pencan, and it was a crazy experience because I never drove one, and the way they hook up and you're coming.
They drive so different, right?
And I want to change lanes and everything, and this thing had an automatic transmission. So when you got going, you had to push this button on the dash and the thing would jump and everything. But I guess the story of it was I got drilled in the door.
Oh.
I got hit right in that door, right where we were sitting. And I never got knocked out, but I went back to the pits and I was fighting being sick to my stomach. So looking back, I knew I was a little cuckoo at that time.
Yep.
And I did finish the night and I did qualify it. And I did finish the race. But, going back to, getting old, I love doing it. I had a ball the other night and I don't know. I don't, as you get older, you don't have the stamina to go out there and work on the car. All of a sudden, I decided the other day at 9:00 in the morning, I found out they were racing. And I think, well, this is cool. I can go race where Mike is.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, I'll watch him race.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 3.5-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
Not thinking in my head that I hadn't looked at that car in 1 year. It sat on the rolling stand for 1 year. I did repair where the front bolt come out of the balancer and some things, but there was still a lot of work to do. I, no less than hook the trailer up, charge the battery on the winch, charge the battery on the car. I had to redo some things on the front. So I'm like, I did all that, and the adrenaline gets you going. It was fun, and it was fun the day. And then I wake up the next morning. Oh shit! I gotta wash this thing.
Yeah,
that's not
it's
one
not fun.
of the most fun things to do.
No.
Is to wash, but you just got to put your head down and do it. So as you're going about being old and racing more, I'd love to do it, but I wish I had a little helper. Is he there? Is MJ there?
Couple more years. Don't worry. Mike's already training him.
Oh, I see that. Great.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're fast forward, right? What was it like when Mike started showing interest in getting behind the wheel? Were you all for it, or were you kind of like, man, what were the vibes?
You see, Mike obviously started coming to the races when he was about 10 or 11. In fact, I think he was 11 years old. He kind of got a win as a crew chief.
Mm-hmm.
We won at Fulton Speedway, I think it was, in Charlie Davis's car. And so, he was young, and he obviously liked the cars and everything. So then all of a sudden, when he was maybe 14 or 15, his mother says, we ought to get him in a car.
It was Kathy? Shame on her.
Yeah. I said, you better feel your forehead.
Yeah.
Really? So,
okay.
Long story, we got the slingshot, and he worked his tail off and raced, and, we continued with the slingshots, which is a fantastic class to start somebody because I feel they're safe and everything. Ended up becoming a dealer, tried to get the cars to work, more cars to come to Paradise Speedway. And anyways, that was the start of Mike's racing. And then we got him a Sportsman as a surprise birthday present. He didn't even, this is how Mike doesn't know what's going on the farm. I had it right across from the house in the back of what we call the Butler building. It was in the back, but Mike never goes in there. And it was in there for I don't know how long. He never was in there. And then on his birthday, I wheeled the thing out. And obviously, he was pretty surprised. So that got him started in the bigger cars. But that was after he'd already done the slingshots, the 270s, and the 600s.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So then fast forward to modifieds. I mean, what was like... Well, one, how long did you guys race against each other, and what was that like? Because I'm sure it was so much fun.
It was a ball. We did it mainly at Afton.
Okay.
So we, take both cars, and it was fun. He was driving for Charlie Davis, and I had a Higfab chassis that I put together, and I always used used parts. I always wanted him to have the best stuff, and but my car was pretty decent. I started out with a big block motor we had, and then when I put the small block in, I ended up, lucking out in 1-to-1 feature. But it was fun, but it's also hard because you want him to do good, maybe even better than me, because because I'm there to have fun, like you were talking before. I did this for fun. I didn't do it that wasn't my living like your dad. It wasn't like something I had to do. I
Yeah.
did this because I love the racing, I love the people, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like when I started hanging out with you guys were so excited. I'm like, wow, people actually enjoy doing this. What?
Yeah, that we do. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the loves that we do is because of the people and the competition. And also, it's unbelievable the amount you learn racing
Yeah.
mechanically, about people, about life, the whole thing. It's really a pretty fantastic sport.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. So that has me curious is like, what has it been like for you? I mean, you and Kathy. Well, one, I'm gonna have a conversation with Kathy because I had no idea it was her doing. We're gonna
Well,
go
she
to heart.
doesn't. She doesn't want to
Okay.
admit it, but it was her idea.
For the woman that doesn't want to go to watch the races, it was her fault. Got it. So what has it been like though for you? You know, like you said, you're racing against Mike at the track and you want him to do better, but to see the career he has built for himself, you know, like what has that been like watching for you guys?
Well, it's been exciting, and rewarding, and for what he's, the person he's turned into, you're just proud.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So, okay. Life today. I assume, I mean, Jim, I think it's legal what you do. If it's not, we'll cut this part out.
It's illegal.
But you do some drag racing too, right? That's legal.
I did.
You
I
did.
did, and
You
we
did
did
stick
this.
week. Like you're not done racing. You're dabbling in a lot of different stuff than just dirt modifieds these days.
Well, I always said, yeah, I do a lot of stuff, and I always said my obituary is probably going to be 5-6 pages long. But um, I got this idea to try drag racing because it
Hmm.
really is simpler than dragging a car and going to the dirt track every day.
Yeah.
So we did Sick Week last year, which is a drag and drive event, and so much fun. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it was unbelievable fun. Kathy and I did it, and there was a video done. Mike helped,
Hmm.
and you did it on your channel and everything. And oh my gosh, I can't explain how much fun it was, and I'd like to do it again this year if I get accepted. And there's a local track that does some nostalgic racing 4 times a year up in Savannah, and I did it with my old pickup last year, and it wasn't nowhere competitive. But drag racing is a fun sport too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love doing it.
So
I love doing that too.
I mean, so okay, so I feel like when we just I maybe it was like around 2015. Like when did you kind of shift from like I don't want to say you hung up your helmet because I don't think any driver really ever
Right.
hangs up their helmet, but you kind of essentially stopped racing modifieds, right? When like what was the synopsis of that? What caused that?
Shingles.
Okay, that'll do it. No shit, really.
Yeah, we were in Florida, and all of a sudden I had these like hives on me or whatever, and
Mhm.
I didn't know what it was, and kept asking questions. And what was funny, I called home to my daughter Kelly, and because the kids had been there, I says, the kids, did they get bit up about something when they were down here? And she goes, no, but Dad, you ought to think about the shingles. I says, oh no, your mom said you got the vaccination, there's no way you got the shingles. So I went to a outpatient
Mhm.
doctor up in Daytona at the time, and I went in, and he says, well, pull your shirt up. And he goes, oh, you got the shingles. And I says, what?
Wow.
I thought I got the shot. And he says, that doesn't make any difference, you still got them. So anyways, they were very painful.
Mhm.
They went from the center of my chest around to the center of my back, and unbelievable pain. I mean, I'd be doubled up in pain. Mike and I would be out in the shop, and I just could hardly speak and had to crawl back into the house and
Yeah.
kind of lay down, relax, and get the pain away. So, anyways, I didn't race in 16,
Okay.
and so that car got sold, and um, I guess that was kind of the end of me racing weekly. I did drive the 35 car twice at Airborne
Yep.
as a backup to Mike, and of course I tried racing at Fonda and had the bad wreck. And there might have been I can't remember some other times, but uh, yeah,
Okay.
that's that.
So what has it been like for you? Especially, I mean, you've raced your 30, I guess I hate that we call it vintage, right? Like
What I'm doing now, it's vintage. It's
now
making it
it's
vintage.
vintage. Yeah, you're in the vintage class.
Yeah.
But what has it been like for you to get behind the wheel of that again?
Oh, it's
Does it
it's
bring back memories?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
It brings back memories, and it's funny. What's funny is I do complain about these new cars and the big
Of
bodies
course.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, their things are hard to get in and out of. My old car was so easy. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? It isn't.
Mm-mm.
That thing is the window's smaller than I can remember. I get in and it's tight in there.
Yeah.
My knees are up against the steering box and it's tight in there. But once I get in, I'm kind of cramped on the pedals, and then I never remembered that. I mean, I don't remember any of that stuff being
No, of
like
course not.
that, except for that my Hig Fab seemed to have a lot of room in it. It was real comfortable, but it's tight in there. But once I get going, oh my gosh, it's a ball.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So are you, I mean, clearly, Jim, because I remember Mike calling me last week when you were getting your car set up to go to Albany. He's like, I think my dad's racing tonight. I'm like, excuse you? What are you, what are
Yeah,
you talking
yeah,
about? Because
yeah.
you kind of decide on a whim here, but do you have any plans to want to do more? Or are we just going to, I mean, you got the car, pick and choose when you feel like you're in the mood?
I would like to do more.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on my ambition.
Yeah.
And I've had two surgeries for cancer on kidney, and when I have those, it's like 6 months or maybe more before I get any what I say power back, and I'm kind of
Mhm.
back to myself now, and hopefully that maintains and we don't have to go through that again. But anyways, I've got in our shop is the 93 Tobias Vintage.
Yep.
Sitting next to it is the 2019 Bicknell that has all the latest, greatest stuff that Mike was going to race. It's got a nice, big small block in it. I've
Mhm.
repaired it from the flip. It's, as far as I'm concerned, a good car. Next to that is a 2017 Bicknell that Mike built the body on. It's pretty unique. It's got a big block in it, and it's on torsion bars. So that tells you how long ago we raced. I think the last time we raced that it was at Delaware. I'm not sure when Mike was at home.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's sitting there. Well, next to that is a Speedster, and the
Yeah.
Speedster is a brand new frame and body, and it's the older motor, and it doesn't have the dry sump and everything. But the Speedster was a car that I think was one of the most fun I ever had was driving a Speedster.
Yeah.
Them things are
That's
a
fun.
ball. You have to
Mhm.
drive them,
Yeah.
and it's just fun racing, and they're pretty affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And so all that stuff sits there. So you go back to my future, what I want to do. I have all this in my head. I never raced a coupe. So
Okay.
I want to find a 36, 37 coupe body because I always loved Buzzy Rudiman's cars
Yeah.
and build something like that. If they would fit on one of those Bicknell cars, I'd love to do that and have the coupe and my Tobias and,
Hmm.
race some more in the vintage because to race against Mike and those guys, I love to sit there and dream at night that I'm as competitive and can
Yeah.
do it, but sometime in life you got to realize you're an old coot and you gotta, you know, back off. I think I could run pretty good, but I don't know. These new cars are just, I haven't run them that much, but they're tough on the driver. That left
Mhm.
side panner, the way they stick. I watch Mike in the videos, and he's bouncing back and
Oh my
forth.
God.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, I feel like you're getting beat up in them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm going to be 73 in November, so I still feel I'm out there rolling every day, working, and
yeah.
I would like to think I can do more,
Yeah.
but I
As
want to do so much. I'm a nutcase. I don't
you are.
know.
You are. I won't argue that. You always have to be
Yeah.
doing something, which isn't a bad thing. It really isn't. And I mean, as long as you still have that drive and that ambition to want to race, why not? And like you said, you have the cars, and I like that you're dabbling in different stuff too. I think that's fun. You're meeting new people, and I'm sure you can attest, because I know Kathy even said when you did Sick Week, you made a lot of friends. Like
Oh my gosh.
it all circles back to what you said. It's the community, that keeps us all alive, and our, the blood pumping to want to go to the races.
Car people are great people.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah.
Anybody that's, whether you're in the old hot rods that I'm in, the racing, the drag racing, anything like that, they're just great people. I love them all.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
not many people know is that you have 4 children. You have
Hmm.
a good handful, more than a handful of grandchildren. What do you
Oh yeah.
feel has been your key to enjoy life? I feel like I love when we all hang out. You guys are very, very family oriented. I feel like you're trying to make sure to go to the kid, like the grandkids sports, like when the girls and Mike were growing up, what do you feel your key is that has helped you enjoy life despite like farming, illnesses, racing? Like
Well,
how do we
family
balance?
obviously. Family obviously, but I always felt too that when I was younger, um, maybe I didn't spend enough time with the first two girls because I was spending too much farming and racing and so on. But I don't know. It's just great having such a great family. They're all workers.
Mhm.
Um, just proud of what they've become.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. So,
Yep.
Jim, we could talk for days, and if this has been like a podcast in the making, and we're gonna have him back on. I promise you that. But my last question is, um, what piece of advice would you offer anyone that their child or the children want to grow up in racing or become a race car driver? What piece of advice or lessons learned maybe would you offer them?
Well, if they really want to do it, and um, I say support them because life is pretty short, and if you want to do something, um, do it
Hmm.
because you'll be sorry down the road if you didn't. And if they want to start racing, start out, there's affordable classes. You don't have to race big block modifieds. I mean,
Yeah.
the slingshot, even when Mike and I were doing that together, I forget how old I was, but I was having fun racing those.
Yeah.
And I won a couple of nationals, and that's an affordable class. The speedster's an affordable class. Um, the sportsman, we raced that one year. I didn't I personally didn't like the sportsman. There was a lot of crashing at the time. I don't know if there's that much now,
Hmm.
but the 358s can be a great class. There's just, I don't know. Like you say, I just say support them and do it as a family. And yes, it's costly, but everything we do is costly. So, but if you put your head down and want to do it and work a little harder so you can afford it, I mean, it's a great sport to do, and I don't think you'll regret it. I really don't think anybody family that wants to do it together will regret it because it's challenging, but you got to be tough whatever you do in life, and just know that you can do it. That's all. I mean, you can, anybody can do it. You got to use your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I always admire most about you and Kathy is your dedication to your kids and to your family, and it always blew my mind. I mean, granted, if my parents ever listen to this, well, oh well. Because I'm just gonna put it at it as it is
Yeah.
like you won't see my parents at my brother's races. You know, you don't see my parents doing half the stuff. And that's just how they were raised and how they raised us. But
Yeah.
what you and Kathy do, and I just see it personally, obviously firsthand with Mike, is you like if he blows a motor and he needs to bring it to wherever, it could be Ohio, it could be Canada, Florida, wherever it is, like you
We're
and
going to do it.
Kathy, yeah, you guys will do it, and that always, it just amazes me what you guys are willing to do to make sure your kids have the success that you want them to have.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's like, I lived out of the suitcase. I felt like the month when they had the baby, but I enjoyed it.
You're
It was
hired and you don't know it, okay? Just saying.
well, it was fun, knowing that felt like I was helping and so on, and
Yeah.
if when he wrecked his favorite car there at Oswego, I brought it home, put a rear clip on it, and
Yeah.
we call it Old Clippy now, and it's still a doggone good car, and I was happy to
Mhm.
do those things, and I love helping. I think we both. I would like to make every race. I can't stand it when I miss a race, but
Mhm.
you can't make every race. He
Yeah.
races too damn much
How
for
many
me.
times have we had this conversation? I mean, for me
But
too. It's fine.
for Mike Mahaney, I understand it. He wants to race every time.
Mhm.
He did until now with MJ. I think things,
Yeah.
this is a different thing happening, but um and I understand that. I probably, when you go back to what I would have done if I could have, probably I would have done the same doggone thing if I could have,
Mhm.
because you love to race, you're a racer.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm just happy to help. And
Yeah.
Kathy's happy to help. She's funny that any race on TV, she's got her little book.
Yep. She takes notes every
She's
time.
writing her stats. She could tell you when Joey pulled out on this lap and what happened there. She writes everything down. She could have all them stats. She just has
Mhm.
it. And that keeps her calm when she's watching races. Because that's one thing I want to state. It's easier for me to drive the car than to watch racing. You're
Mhm.
always nervous because like the other night, he's racing at Albany and he's on the edge. And I always feel like I used to be able to run that edge. But you're always, is he going to mess up? You're
Mhm.
always on pins and needles every time, and he did in 43 laps. He messed up one time. He caught the hole and it went
Yep.
up, but he saved it, so it was all good. And then I watched him at Airborne. He's on the edge again, and it keeps you on your toes watching
Mhm.
him, wondering, well, don't mess up.
Especially
And
when
if he
he's your
does, he
kid.
does, because I messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that nobody messes up, and nobody's perfect. It's just he's
Mhm.
become quite a driver, and it's still fun to watch. But it's I always said it's easier to be in the car behind the wheel, because if
Mhm.
I mess up, then it's on me.
Yeah. That's
You
so
know,
true. So true. And now, correct me if I'm wrong. I should have done my homework, Jim, but I'm just tossing this one out here is because Jim mentioned it is I think it was what 2 or 3 weeks maybe right around the time when MJ was born in August. Jim pretty much took the role of leading the pack. He was living in Elizabethtown for us, probably eating chips and
Stewards, stewards.
he was living large on Stewart's over there, but he was maintaining the car and really helped. Like it helped both Mike and I a ton because Mike was able to be here with his son and show up at the races, and that meant everything. But what'd you guys get? 3 wins together? That 4 in that little stretch?
We
We
might
don't, we
have,
don't know. But
we
every
might have, but I
every
mean,
every race that they won while Jim was maintaining the car, I'd text him like, you're hired. Okay, now you're really hired. We're going to keep you, Jim.
Well, I had two great helpers in Lance
Yeah.
and Jacob. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job there. So it wasn't just me. Um, I don't want to absolutely take credit that it was because I was there. They're doing a fantastic job, and I just can think that we worked together and we were having a great time in the shop. I mean, Jacob and I just beat off each other and just have a ball. I think it's a riot. He's a great person, and Lance is doing his job, and I guess it was fun that we could. I was nervous because you don't want to be the guy that forgot something on the car.
Yeah, that's so true.
Mm-hmm. So there was pressure, I think, on all three of us to not screw up. Mm-hmm. And that was, I guess, that's a feather in your cap when you get the win.
Yeah,
you get a good finish. You can go, we did all right.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's a lot. It is a lot on a person to like put the nuts and bolts in the car and hope the car stays together. Because that happens.
Well, I always said, Kathy, when she was maintaining the car did not fall apart, and it never ran out of gas.
Oh, she did her job.
She's
a good woman.
She always, did her job. She got the Woman in Racing Award one year. She got the Crew Chief Award one year. Just goes to show, the great job she did. So the crew people that Mike has as so important in his racing, which he knows that. And, it wasn't, I want to make it clear it wasn't all me. It was a lot of fun. And obviously maybe I was a leader that could help them with a couple of things that they couldn't do or forgot, but we all worked together, like I said, and it was awesome. And hope I can do more of it. It's just tough being five hours away.
Being 5 hours away and no one to make you meals, and
you're lucky. Kathy sent me up with the
last time
food.
Yes,
the last time, and
she's a good girl.
We ate like kings.
Yeah, and it's so easy when you're racing 10 days straight to forget to, I don't want to say hygiene, but like feed yourself.
Well, Elizabethtown is a neat little town, and now I believe there's a restaurant open.
Yep.
But there's no place to go eat there.
No.
So I would go to the it's Tops, isn't it?
Yep. The grocery store is Tops, yeah.
Oh my gosh. They make a sub sandwich that you could get 4 meals out of. It's insane.
They're huge.
It's insane. And so I would treat myself to that sometimes, but you eat a lot of subs and you might sneak some pizza in. And of course, obviously, Kathy's wasn't happy with the crap I was eating. Not, it's all right. But yeah, because I would get there at maybe 8 o'clock, not real early. And the boys get there and, we're working till 8, 9 o'clock at night sometimes. And then, you go home and you crash and watch some racing on TV or something and go to sleep and start again. It was just what you do, but I enjoyed it.
Good. Yeah. Good. Well, great. Hopefully, I mean, we've got the big races coming up, and so I know you'll be there with us. Yep. So this was great. This was awesome. Thank you, Jim, for coming on, taking the time. And for all of the listeners, I know Jim has been highly requested. I don't know if I've told you that, Jim, but highly requested to come on the podcast for quite some time. But guys, every time I texted Jim last, I'm like, all right, I'm coming to King Ferry. We're going to sit down and we're going to record a podcast. And let me tell you what, the Mahaneys, they just like to talk. So by the end of the day, it's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, there's no way we're getting this in. And it's not a bad thing because I've always admired that. You guys are such a great family that it's a holiday. You're there all day talking, just spending that one-on-one time together. And every time I come to King Ferry, I don't want to intervene. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to schedule this in now while Dad's watching MJ, and it worked. No one's come crying. I think we did all right.
Yeah, and I made it through it, I think.
You did great. You did great. But to all of our listeners, thank you. Seriously, any requests, questions, would love to have Jim back on sometime and we can dive into some more conversations. So let us know. And Jim, thank you. I mean, I'm sure I'll be seeing you shortly, but I appreciate you taking the time to be on.
I hope to see you soon, and hope to see MJ, and can't wait. And thanks for having me on, and love you guys, and can't wait to see you.
Yeah, love you too. All right, guys, thank you for listening in. If you enjoy this, please like it, share it, and we will catch you guys right back here next week. See ya.